become an influencer, it gives you the edge that separates you from the competition. The GIPP initiative, the Global Influencers Partners Program, is designed to expose you to over 5 billion potential consumers across the world. When you are a rising star in business and you need visibility, reach, impact, client conversion, and cash flow optimization, positioning yourself to become a global influencer may be the ideal tool that you need in your arsenal to win in business. I encourage you to join the GIPP initiative and position your business to build confidence, trust, and credibility and cash flow optimize the fastest.
Today, we're going to be looking at a pretty interesting topic on our conversation today. I want to welcome our viewers from across the world to Business Bootcamp. And today, we're going to be talking about money. And what we want to look at today is some of the fastest ways to cash flow your business, because we know that many rising stars in business, you get started, but then you struggle to cash flow. And when you struggle to cash flow, several things happen. What we have seen is that 20.8% of business startups fail in the first year. We see 40% of business startups fail by year 2. And we see 49.9% of business startup fail by the 3rd year. Our mission as we host these programs is to provide you with a content of information that will help you to make better, smarter business decisions. So today's topic, I want to get into it, but I have a team of dynamic personalities here with me today to join the conversation. But just before I invite my partners up, I want to say a couple of things. Money plays a vital role in the startup, scale up, and continuity of every business. The success rate of many business will increase significantly if they identify creative ways to cash flow their brands and businesses early in the startup phase, and even before that business gets started. So I want you to think about this. Is there a way to cash flow your business even before you get started? And yes, there is. Today, I will look a little bit at what we call influencer marketing and personal branding. So I want you to call a friend, tell a friend that you know is in business that the Business Bootcamp is on. And if they need to get some hacks in terms of how to start and grow and scale a business the smart way, they should join the platform now. So with that being said, I want to now invite some of my colleagues on stage. I have Shivani Sinarayan. Shivani Sinarayan, she is a project management practitioner. She's also a lecturer with years of experience in her field. I also have Clement Frank, and Clement Frank, he is an economist by profession and a certified leader. I also have Peter Gould-Scott, and Peter is a specialist in master planning. And last but not least, we have Elmore, and Elmore plays a role in the cryptocurrency space. So I want to welcome you to today's program. How are you, my friends?
Well, wonderful.
Great.
Awesome. To lay the foundation in today's program, I want to expand on some of what I would have said early on. I want to talk a bit about the influencer model and how it works. Now, one of the things that we see many rising stars in business do not do, they focus a whole lot on what we call corporate branding and not enough on what is known as personal branding. So the influencer marketing comes a lot under personal branding. But let me talk a little bit about how to build a personal brand, because building a personal brand plays tremendously on your ability to cash flow. And think about this, what I'm about to get into. When you bring an established personality, an influencer to help you to bring visibility, reach, and impact client conversion to your organization, because of the fact that influencer, they have breaking through the know, like, and trust. They have confidence, trust, and credibility in the eyes of the public. They're quickly able to sway consumers' interest in your products and services. Now, when you are applying the influencer model, it's the same concept you are attempting to accomplish here. Now, but how do you begin this process, which can really put you on a pathway to cash flow and to cash flow fast? You can start this process by investing in yourself. And there's a number of ways in which you can begin to invest in yourself. You can invest in yourself to become an SCP. By an SCP, I mean a sales communication professional. As a sales communication professional, you may be able to advise the many millions of businesses who are starting up business in all of the wrong way. As an SCP, you would understand the importance of market research. As an SCP, you would understand the importance of analyzing data. As an SCP, you would understand how to leverage that data in the right way. And as an SCP, you will understand how to mitigate that data. And all of this is relevant to business. And if you think that you're getting into business and you're going to disregard all of this, perhaps this is another reason why you're going to struggle in business. All right. So you can build your personal brand along the lines where you know that there's going to be demand for your products, your services, and your innovation. I'm going to quickly go through this and then I'm going to expand on this as we speak today. Once you would have built your personal brand or start the process of building your personal brand, you want to build an audience base. Now, how do you go about building an audience base? Again, you're going to fail because you are not visible. You're not reaching the ideal client. And if you don't reach the ideal client, you're not able to make impact with the ideal client. And if you don't make impact, it's going to be hard for you to cash flow optimize. So you need visibility to create all of this. Now, there are a number of platforms that I will table to you that you can now leverage to create visibility. For example, you have Rumble, and you have hundreds of thousands and millions of persons who are today on Rumble. That's one platform that you can use. You have YouTube, and today you have about 2.70 billion users on the YouTube platform. These are platforms that helps you to get visibility. It helps you to reach the ideal client. It helps you to make impact. It helps you to client convert. It helps you to build confidence, trust, and credibility, not just locally, but globally. All right. But you have to invest in these step-by-step approaches to achieve the business objective. So if you want to cash flow fast, you need to start thinking along these lines, because it is these visibility platform that is going to open up those opportunities for you. I'm going to quickly go through some other platforms that you can use. For example, you can use Clubhouse. I've met some great minds on Clubhouse from all over the world. So it's another platform that you can think about. How about Facebook? Facebook today have over 3 billion users on the platform. Do you understand how to navigate this platform? Something for you to start thinking about when you want to cash flow and cash flow fast. You have Instagram. Instagram has about 2.4 billion users. Another great platform for you to use. And also, I'm going to throw into the mix here what I call independent platforms. You want to have independent platforms that you're building out that is giving you an opportunity to connect with the ideal client and build that relationship with the ideal client that is helping you to get through that know, like, and trust, and getting them to that point where the consumer want to spend with you more. So I'm just giving you some quick tips that you should be using when you want to cash flow and cash flow fast. And again, we have started what we call the GIPP initiative. Why? Because the GIPP initiative is going to be helping you along these lines to develop your strategic plan and help you to implement those strategic plan to cash flow your business the fastest. Now, the next concept that I'm going to come to now, you want to master the know, like, and trust. And I cannot emphasize this enough. Your business is going to struggle to cash flow because you're not known, you're not liked, and you're not trusted. All right. And if you're not breaking through these cycles through deliberate game plan, it's another reason why you're going to be undermining your chance to cash flow. So again, the reason why we're going to be I'm recommending the influencer marketing is because as an influencer, you stand a high chance to be known, to be liked, and to be trusted. Now, if you know you don't have the capability of doing this, perhaps you need to align yourself with influencers. So, influencers now will help you to achieve the bottom line, which is cash flow optimization. So, you want to master what we're saying is the know, like, and trust factor. The last concept that I'm going to come to, when you're working with us and the GIPP initiative, we are not just going to talk to you about the fastest way to cash flow your business. We're going to talk to you about multiple streams of cash flow. Why? Because we have the knowledge, we have the experience, and we know exactly how to help you to achieve this. Starting the business and cash flowing the business faster. And just let me give you some quick examples. We have been working with platforms for many years. We have been testing platforms for many years. But in recent times, we have launched two unique platforms across social media. And in less than 30 days, we have been able to attract over 25,000 new consumers to our platform. That makes a statement. And we have repeated this process several times. And because we have a dynamic team that is doing this, we know now that we can do this for you. All right. So when you come into the GIP initiative, we are not just going to tell you just the fast way to cash flow. We will also talk to you about multiple streams of income using your brand. So I'm going to pause here for now, and I want to open up the floor for conversation. And I want to start with Frank on this particular topic. Frank, are you there? I'm not hearing you. I'm still not hearing you. All right. All right, Frank. You're gonna just I don't know. Perhaps you have to go out and come back in and let's see how that works for you. But I want to welcome the audience from across the world who is looking at today's program. Today we are looking at business boot camp and we are looking at money. Some of the things that we want to cover is the fastest way to cash flow your business. What I've just given to you is definitely some of the techniques that we have been using to cash flow in very short period of time. Um, so what I'm gonna do now, okay, I think Frank is back. So Frank, do you have audio? You still don't have audio, my friend. You probably need to disconnect and reconnect your setup there. All right. The next person I want to talk to is Shivani. Shivani is a project management practitioner, and I know you give businesses a lot of advice in terms of how to develop their projects for success. And from your experience, would you want to chime into this conversation?
Thanks, Gary. Now, an interesting topic once again, in terms of cash flow. I would say definitely, if you don't have money, you can't set up any project, right? You need the money. You need money to start up, to continue. Now, as we were speaking about before we went live, and the importance of cash flow, you know, for example, now, a lot of us will, and we'll hear from our crypto specialist soon, speaking about the different ways to cash flow with the use of crypto. But what would be, in my experience, one of the challenges really is that persons may not want to cash flow with using different financial instruments. There are so many different financial instruments. So what can we do? Sometimes you might just say, well, I don't want to do it, and then you don't do anything, and then your project just is just an idea. It didn't even form into a project, it was just an idea that you had. So one of the main techniques, so if not really a technique, but one of the main points that I really want to make is change management. And that's what I've seen. When you want to cash flow your business, and there are so many different ways now, and this is what you're speaking about. There are many different ways that you could do it. Use of crypto, use of different financial instruments. You're speaking about the BFC, and so many different ways that you can do this thing now. But what about change management? A lot of persons may still say, no, I needed to get the money by getting $10 from the bank or $20 from the traditional way of getting, how you cash flow your business, or probably just going to work in an organization, save the money, but sometimes put the money under your mattress and say, okay, well, I'll use it when I need to use it, you know. So, I still have seen that way that persons don't want to do it because of a fear, and it's change management. Now, how do you get people in projects now to really understand the different ways of funding your project? Now, the change management, as we keep saying, there would be resistance to change. And how we can do this is through education. You have to educate people. Now, there's also trust. You need to create a trust, in my experience. And Peter said it too. He's not going to go with somebody if he doesn't trust them really. And, you have to trust the individual. It comes down to that, trust. Because you, Gary, could come and tell me 100 different ways to cash flow. And I bet I might just say, yeah, Gary, I'm going to do it. And I'm doing nothing. So trust, in my experience, is a big thing for me, right? And you have to trust people. You have to learn. You have to show me how I could trust you, right? Because if you're going into this type of cash flow, so change management, in my experience, is a big, big, big point. How to cash flow using the different ways. And just yesterday, someone was telling me, they said, Shivani, I brought this individual for you to discuss these things with for funding some of the projects that we want to embark on. And the reason that, I said, let me bring the person to you, or give you this type of conversation, is that you're gonna listen. You're gonna listen. And you need to have a different type of mindset as well. So 3 points in my experience in cash flowing. One, you have to develop trust with the people, if this is different type of environments that you're going into. So you have to understand that. Two, change management. How are you going to get persons now, because this is change, as we keep saying, it's not the traditional way of what we are accustomed to. And change is good, because sometimes the traditional way that you have been accustomed to is just not working. It may just work for a little bit, and then how could you move? So those are my two contributions so far in cash flowing projects, how we can do it, and the importance of it. It comes down again to empathy and listening to people, the customer as well. So thanks for that, Gary.
All right, Shivani. Frank, are you audible now?
I think I am. Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm hearing you
All
loud and
right.
clear.
All right. Good.
Shivani, made a. I'm coming to you, Frank. Shivani, you made a very important point, which is trust. You can have a strong brand, you can have a very superior brand, but if people don't trust that brand because they don't know that brand, the ability to cash flow that brand is going to be significantly undermined. And hence the significant reason behind me today mentioning the influencer marketing, because influencer marketing is what's going to put you in front of millions of people. And you have to be prepared to deliver value consistently above and beyond the expectations of the ideal client, because they're going to be out there and they're going to be making an assessment of who you are. And that's why we begin this program by talking about your preparedness to present yourself via the media platform. You see, as you position yourself to master the influencer model, it's not just about projecting yourself out there. It's about understanding the brand image that you want to create and want to project. And it's about you investing the time, the talent, and the resources to build that brand. And sometimes it's not all about you, because the brand that you're building has to be relevant to people. The brand you're building has to be stress test. And I'm going to talk about that once time permits for me to get into that, which will help the rising star in business to get through that trust factor, to build the know, the like, and break through that trust factor. But those are some great points that you would have raised. And again, the objective of hosting these programs is to table the solution. There's a lot of problems that businesses are faced with, but we want to table some of those solutions, so at least when they get back to their boardroom as a rising star in business, they have some of these key ideas they can begin to work with. Frank, the man in the house, all to you.
I the issue of cash flow is one numeracy skill every business leader must know. The question can be asked: do you need to be great with numbers to be an effective leader? Not exactly. Running a business is more about hard work, vision, and adaptability than anything else. Sure, if you have savvy resource management, that's a huge component. But most of that can be delegated. Not all of it, though. Not to the extent that you can stay out of the loop. Cash flow management isn't something any business leader can afford to misunderstand. And if you want to lead your business to great success, one need to make a firm commitment to overseeing cash flow management, no matter how ill-suited you are to the task. The basics of cash flow, put simply, is the movement of money in out of your business, encompassing everything you make and everything you spend. And having strong cash flow is about ensuring that you constantly cover your costs while leaving enough in reserve to safeguard your operation. Some business owners track cash flow quite broadly, perhaps using a spreadsheet or even just taking general notes. Others take it a lot more seriously, tracking even the most minute expenses at all business levels, and they use dedicated accounting software. And if you aspire to be, if you aspire to great things with your business, you should aim to join the latter group I spoke of. Do you know that cash flow is more pressing than profit? Reaching the point of profitability is a huge goal for every non-charitable startup. It's a milestone that proves lasting viability and hints at the tangible rewards yet to come. That said, it's a mistake to focus on profitability as a key metric for the growing business because it doesn't guarantee success. History is littered with examples of profitable business that failed. How does a profitable business fail, you may ask? By making a major misstep in cash flow and suffering a catastrophic breakdown in operations. Imagine that you have a strong deal with a supplier that allows you to sell products very profitably, and you want to scale up to make even more money. To that end, you place a huge order. Unfortunately, there's an issue with your payment processor, and you're unable to pay for that order. Angered by a lack of professionalism, your supplier decides to make a deal with another business, cutting you off entirely. Without supply, you can't sell and you can't make any money. So, as your finances dry up, you're forced to vacate your office space. In a short time span, your business has collapsed entirely, despite its fundamental profitability. So, cash flow is a key to sustainability. You can endure a lack of profitability for quite some time, provided you're able to cover your costs, but a cash flow problem will sink you rapidly.
Mhm.
This run I would want to how to oversee your cash flow management. Yeah.
All right. Um, Thanks for that share, Frank. And I want to expand a little bit on a point that Shivani would have made, and then I'm going to come to Peter. Now, one of the reasons we have started the GIPP initiative is largely because we have seen many businesses go through a growth curve, and Shivani would have mentioned. They have a good product, they may have a good service, but then they are not the product or service is not trusted to deliver value because it's not known, it's not liked. And what we have seen is that there are better approaches that you can use to achieve the business objective. So what I'm going to lay out now is some practical steps that can be taken to help a rising star in business to grow through that growth curve. And again, that's the reason, one of the reasons why we have started the GIP initiative is to really help rising stars in business to navigate some of the startup phases. So one of the first thing that you want to do when you're trying to break barriers with a know, like, and trust, you need to research your ideal client. The more you know about the ideal client is going to put you in a position of strength to innovate products and services in alignment with those needs, wants, and expectations. And that's going to be step one in setting the stage for you to achieve your business financial objectives. Step two that I want to emphasize here is that you also want to stress test your MVO. And what do I mean by stress testing your MVO? It means that whatever value offer you're tabling to the market, the value offer must be relevant, but the only way you know that is by doing, first of all, the market research. The second step to stress test is to assess the market viability. Assessing the market viability is going to help you to understand the size of the market, the density of the market, and the dispersion of the market. I'm giving a high level overview here. The third step is for you to be able to do the market access assessment, because very often what happens is that you are innovating a product or a service, you perceive or have a perception that there's going to be demand for a product, but then you don't fully understand who is your target market. Very often when we interface with the client and we say, who is your target audience? Do you know exactly where to find them? What are their characteristics? They don't know it. And that's going to be another reason why you're going to struggle to cash flow. So you want to do that stress test. The next thing that the stress test will help you to identify is market urgency and immediacy. You want to know this. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you're getting into the market, you want to know that the product or service that you're going to be tabling, that there's going to be some urgency and some immediacy for that. For example, every business want a cash flow and they want a cash flow now. Does that reflect urgency? Yes. But here, this other one. While you're stress testing, you want to see urgency in everything that I would have said before. But along with that, you also want to be certain that the ideal client, they have the ability and the willingness to pay for your products and services. Because there's one thing to establish urgency and demand for your products and services, only to recognize that the ideal client don't have the ability to pay for your products. And in cases where you see that, if you cannot find some agent to pay for that product for that client, that is not an ideal client, particularly when you want a cash flow. But you don't know this because you have not stress test your project. All right. So again, the GIP initiative, which is right on screen, is designed to really give you an in-depth analysis of all that we're talking about and ensure that you're pointed in the right direction so you're able to make better business decisions when it comes to cash flow in your operation. Now, I want to pause a bit because there's so much to say on this point, and I can't get everything across. And with fairness to my colleagues, I want to give them a chance to chime in. Peter, I know you are the expert on master planning, and I do believe that one of the fastest way to cash flow is to have a master plan. Is to have a master plan that is proven, that is tested, and working with the right expert is going to give you that type of results that you want. So I want to ask you to chime in. From your perspective, how important is the master plan when it comes to cash flow optimization? Perhaps you might want to look at it from that perspective, or perhaps you might want to look at some of the experience that you would have had in terms of working with your clientele base.
Yeah, thanks again, Gary. And we just want to welcome all the participants wherever you are today. You are in the right place at the right time, and we will give you the kind of expertise that we believe can fast track and accelerate whatever it is that you're doing and whatever your focus is today. Um, the to be able to get into, as we're talking about cash flow, one of the fastest way to cash flow as an individual. Well, master planning, we cannot really underestimate the importance of developing a plan. They commonly say that you plan if you do not you plan to fail if you're not planning, right? So whether or not you are doing something, whether or not you are creating a design, it's there must be a sense of intentionality about what it is that your objectives are. So with that, questions in our master planning program, you have to ask questions. When you ask the right questions, you will actually come up with the right answer. So you have to design. To create that design, you need to be asking yourself question. You have to be doing much evaluation. There's three concepts that we try to bring across to our clients when they come to us is what we call the discover, design, and develop. Or let me just repeat that. It is to discover, yes, discover, develop, and distribute. Discover, develop, distribute. First of all, you want to discover, because what is that unique value proposition that you are bringing to the marketplace? What is it that you have to offer? What is it that the market need? And what are your skill sets in alignment to actually produce and distribute those value to the marketplace? So you want to be able to do your self analysis. And when we're speaking, there is four dimensions in which we work with our clients, is the personal life master plan. And we find that when individuals have a clear understanding of where they stand in the marketplace, as we do believe that every individual, you speaking to us, you watching us this morning, this time, where you at, every individual was sent into the earth with a problem to solve. Every individual. So you have value. The issue now is for you to discover what that problem is that you were designed to solve. And that is where we talk about the discovery of that unique value proposition that you're going to bring to the marketplace. And as I said again, if you ask yourself the right question, because you're master planning now. So master planning, it tends to be very broad, and then you can narrow it down. So in the narrowing down of that vast plan, then that is where you get into the design, and you're beginning to eliminate those areas that are not useful, so that those which are useful can arise to the surface. So you're going to go through the designing. After you have discovered something, you want to design it, you want to fit it, as you mentioned. The term that you utilize, Gary, is to stress test in the designing, because you definitely don't want to just come up with an idea or something that you think is useful and then to take it to the marketplace and discover that it is not as good as you thought it was. So that goes into the designing. So you discover, then you begin to design, and you want to make sure that all the necessary components are actually being tested. And so that is where you got to know, you got to do relationship, you work with the relationship, working with the people that are around you. You want to ask every individual that you know, that value that you are presenting, you want to find out, is that good for them? Get their feedback on that which you're working, because you're going to be doing you're going to be doing the tweeting, you're going to be doing the iterations, you're going to be doing the changes, all the necessary changes to ensure that when you actually reach a distribution stage now, you are actually mass producing or distributing something that is really what your market need. So do those 4 Ds: the discover, the design, and the distribute. And what you will find at the end of the day, you will have something that is cash flowing, because you have discovered, you have designed, and now that you know, you are clear, you are quite clear that this what you're doing is something that the market actually needs.
All right, thanks for that share, Peter. Just before I come across to Elmore, and I want to ask Elmore to talk to the audience about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, as a safe investment portfolio, as a smart way to cash flow. But just before I come to you, I promise to share with the public perhaps ways in which you can start the business in such a way to cash flow even before the business gets started. So I want to begin by saying that to make that happen, to make this happen, you need to propose a strong MVO. And many of you, you're somewhat familiar with me using the term MVO. In the event that you need to know more about MVO, I encourage you to get my books. And if you go to this website here, Habits and Money, um, it's a Shopify page. You will be able to get a lot of information there about that initiative. Let me just show you a couple of things. I want you to go to this link. And when you go to this link, you're going to be able to get some of my books. I have 11 books that is currently on this site. And you can get access to these books that is going to be giving you a whole lot of tips on what we are talking about. If you get when you get volume one will be telling you a whole lot about the MVO, your minimum viable offer. So I'm not going to take my time to go into that today. But let me get back to some of the fastest ways in which you can actually position your business to cash flow before the business gets started. You want to be certain that you have a strong MVO or your value proposition. Then what you want to do next, you want to create what we call your list of subscribers and start getting subscription to your value offer. I can recall many years ago, I had embarked on a project, and I started off by talking to family and friends, and I started to get family and friends, purchasing the pre-ordering that project. And because they were pre-ordering the projects, they were making monetary contribution. Of course, they had no like and trust. And for those that didn't fully know, like or had a reason to trust me, you now have to sell your value offer. Perhaps you can bring a money back guarantee offer alongside your presentation, and you put all the legal mechanism in place to ensure that everybody feel as though they're going to be protected. But I'm saying to you, as a rising star in business, if you cannot have a layback approach when you want to win in business, you have to be creative, you have to be innovative, you have to be forward thinking. In our context, we see you have to be proactive. And proactive leaders, they're always thinking ahead, they're always seeing beyond problems, and they're always taking informed actions to achieve desired results, because the business world is a tough world. And if you want to survive in this world, you have to be creative and innovative. Again, we have started these initiatives. Why? Because we want to help you navigate it. And you're going to hear me talking a lot about the GIPP initiative, because, again, the GIPP initiative is designed, it is uniquely built to help you navigate some of the major challenges that we have studied over the last 20 years that businesses are experiencing. So, if you're the kind of person in business and you want to grow and scale and you want to do this fast, I want to say that we have the programs to help you navigate that process. Along with that, we have a team of dynamic personalities right here. And of course, you're not seeing all of our team players that is going to really help you navigate your business startup phase. With that being said, I want to come across to Elmore to have Elmore talk to us a bit about the cryptocurrency, the Bitcoin, the safeness of it, and the fastest way in which we can possibly cash flow from that platform. Elmore, I must also say that Elmore is an author, so he is positioning himself as the authority in terms of the cryptocurrency in the Bitcoin space. Elmore, all to you.
Thank you so much, Gary. So yes, it is very important when we have this conversation around Bitcoin, because one thing that we understand as being in the Bitcoin space is that we are going to be able to gain financial sovereignty. And so, what does that mean for you as an individual? For what does that have to do with cash flowing? Well, it means that you are going to be able to remain in control. This is another thing that adds to this is the five uh, faces of a decentralized cryptocurrency, which it makes it a borderless, open, it's public, it's unrefutable, and it can never be stopped. So this is one way that it's able to keep you secure. And the other aspect of it is that you are going to be able to keep the value. And what I mean by this is that when you are in a traditional market space and you are using, whether it's dollars, euros, pounds, whatever you're using, you have to understand that year by year these currencies are devaluing themselves maybe by 1 to 2% per year. And so this causes us to come into, well, for individuals that are common in the marketplace that don't really understand this, they just start to see things get more pricey and to things start to become more expensive. And it is because you are essentially losing, you're being debt about 2% a year from the funds that you currently were able to capture. And so what is Bitcoin a consider by many now the hedge against inflation is because of that reason. It does not lose value, it only gains value as it's going. Why? Because we only have a finite amount that is being set on the marketplace versus when you have currencies from central banks, there is no finite amount as to how much they're going to be able to print. There is an infinite amount that they can print, and for whatever reason, when that does happen, then us as people that are in the marketplace tend to feel the consequences of this, but don't understand the consequences of this. So understanding makes you aware, and it allows you to position yourself in a way to where you don't lose on your cash flow, you don't use on your potential gains, of the ability to have control over your funds, and you definitely will, be in a position to where your purchasing power for the amount that you are holding, it's going to go up, and it will not, be losing 2% per year, making it, and at the very end of that cycle is just becomes worthless. And so that's one of the big pet peeves that, if you probably have heard Jimmy Diamond, the CEO of Chase, and but well, Jimmy Diamond, yes, the CEO of Chase, and if you have um, also heard Larry Fink, which is the CEO of BlackRock. They are all now pretty much tuning the same horn, which is Bitcoin is a savior because it allows us to have a hedge against inflation, and to have a hedge against potentially losing your funds on the traditional marketplace by what X and Y see uh, you know things that could be going on at the Federal Reserve level, central bank level, government level, that can essentially, literally puts you out. And it's something that is becoming a real fear amongst the economic community, especially for these big institutions that are now making the move over, after 15 years of this space being alive. So it is very important that we are all able to take this information and really hone in on this, because this is your future. Because if the future that I am painting for you, it's not something that it is an option for you, well, let me show you the other option of this painting, which is where we are heading to. We are heading into the world of CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies. Now, if you don't understand what that means yet, you definitely want to capture my book, because this is where I am very openly giving you all of the details as to what are the biggest dangers of understanding and misunderstanding this space, and how you can, have financial sovereignty, or you have financial slavery. So that's the other option. So we have to become very aware, and we definitely education is a huge part of this. Security is a must, because there is many things that are going to go on as you start to become part of the space. And so there is many things that me myself, I'm able to guide, and I have guided individuals for the past 2 years to be able to onboard this space in a secure, safe manner. And I feel that you would all be able to take advantage of this, and this is what I think it allows an individual with specific personal brands. And when it comes into that conversation, they get to have a track record that makes them trustworthy, and people want to work with them. And so that always benefits for cash flow purposes. So this is this it just makes it to where you as an individual become
Mhm.
valuable enough. And so that is a very powerful thing, because it doesn't matter where you are endeavoring, as long as you are yourself, and you have a very strong, trustworthy brand behind you, you would always be in a position to have demand, and therefore your cash flow will always be on.
All right. Elmore, I keep saying that we have to set aside some time to do a deep dive into, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. Myself and Peter we would talk about this from time to time, but I would always say to Peter, I don't know enough to invest in the platform. And what I would really want to explore as time progress, because one of the things that we do is really working with clients to help them to identify creative platforms or outlets to leverage your excess liquidity. Because some of the things that we see today is that your excess liquidity may be sitting in a 0.1% APR bearing account. And but while you might be getting 0.1% APR, you have an inflation that is taking place at double-digit rate. So what I is simply saying is that certain currencies is quickly devaluing,
Yes.
So if there are creative ways in which you could, instead of devalue, up value your excess liquidity, we always are looking at creative ways to do that. I don't know if cryptocurrency or Bitcoin is the safest place to do so, but we'll have that conversation as time progresses. Um, so to help the public to get more information and really break through that know, like, and trust factors in relation to your factor. I would love to, when that book comes out, I know Peter is working with you on that book. When that book comes out, I would definitely take a deeper look into it to get your perspective to understand the safety nets for investors. Because that's something that we're very, very particular about. Any portfolio we're going to propose to or recommend, it must be stress test. We must understand the risk. We must understand how to navigate those risks, so as to ensure that the beneficiaries, they're not losing their entire pension. We don't want another Enron and all of those kind of scenarios. But I really admire what you're doing, and I think that I know the world is beginning to throw its weight behind crypto. We see some of the big, ETF investors are now behind this space. But as I said, they have taken the time to study the platform. I have not. So, but hats off to you, my friend, and looking forward for that book and to learn so much more from you in terms of what the platform is and what it can do for businesses. Shivani, I know that by now you have a lot to say, so I want to open up the floor to you before coming to Frank and Peter.
Thanks again, Gary. Yes, I got a lot of information with the crypto, and it's to do. I look forward to learning a lot more about it as well with a deep dive, as you mentioned, right? So, in terms of continuing the conversation as well with cash flow, yes, we mentioned 2 points before, which was in understanding how to cash flow and where to get money from. We need to have trust, and we need to understand change management as a person, as an individual, as a business when we want to do something like this. I also want to share two other points, which one would be benefits realization. We don't going to do anything if we don't understand what the benefits are all about. And this is coming from your point as well, Gary, in terms of value. What is the MVO? Do you understand the value of your product? Now, once you understand what is your value, what your value is, you have to ensure that the benefits are realized. So, in projects as well, if you want to continuously cash flow your business, you have to show value throughout because, for example, right now I'm working on a project. Yes, I have gotten funding for it, but it needs to be continued because at the end of the day, this is another aspect or another part of the project or another phase that I want to get into more. And I need to constantly show value. So it's benefits realization. A lot of times when you look at your business, and business is continuity, right? Business is continuity. You set it up as a business now, and for the next 3 years, yes, you may be able to cash flow your business. But what about the funding agencies, your investors? At the end of the day, you want them to continue to invest, or whatever means that you're getting your funding from. So you have to constantly show benefits realization. So you have to constantly work on your product, your service, your business. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So benefits realization and how to do this is a very, very important aspect. A lot, and you mentioned it also in terms of you may get money to start up. You start up and then what? Right? You didn't go very far because of cash flow again, and really because of benefits realization. So this is a strategy for us to develop benefits. It's part of project management, that we need to really understand what are the benefits. Are the benefits going to be attained at different points, and how to continuously realize the benefits. So as a PM, as a project manager, that's what I do. I have to monitor the benefits. Otherwise, I'm not going to see success. I'm not going to see success. So those are just a couple points, in terms of continuing the conversation really in cash flow and how project management can contribute. Trust, you need to develop trust. You need to develop really change management a lot and benefits realization. Thanks, Gary, again.
All right. Shivani, I think that you're making some strong and salient points. I mean, while you said benefit realization, that's very deep. It's a very, very deep statement because it's from two different standpoints I can see benefit realization from. I can see it from the standpoint that you're making a promise to the ideal client that these are going to be their benefits. And I can also see it that you started the business because you have clear TOPAC, which we call targeted performance outcome. And if you don't achieve those targeted performance outcome, you don't get the benefits. Part of your benefits you want to cash flow. Part of your benefit you want to grow. And part of your benefit you want to expand. But if you do not deliver quality above and beyond the expectations of the ideal client or consistently, you're going to undermine this ecosystem that Shivani is referring to, which is the benefits realization. So it's a very strong point that you're making. In conclusion, I want to say this. This is the reason why we talk a lot on our platforms about high value proposition. Because when you take the time to develop a high value proposition, several things is happening here. All right. You're able to attain what we call the high reward. All right. And high reward, again, is going to be looked at from two perspectives. High reward because the customer feels good, they feel satisfied, they're going to invest more in you. And high reward because your business is growing, your business is expanding because you have been able to deliver value above and beyond the expectation of the ideal client, or at least you are able to deliver value consistently. The second concept is measurable results. Whatever you're doing in business, you want to bring yourself to that point where you have measurable targets. Again, you don't have this unless you have data. And one of the things that we talk about a lot is that you may be in business, but you need to ask yourself, do you have that blindfold over your eyes? And if you don't have that measurable results that you want and perhaps a game plan to help you get there, there lies a challenge. So the business boot camp is to really help you to break through some of those challenges. And again, this is why we have designed the GIPP initiative to really help you to understand all of this. You want predictable outcome. When you hear Shivani talk about benefits realization, the benefit is a predictable outcome. All right. But how are you going to achieve that predictability? You need to have the right information. And when all these things are combined, you want high reward, measurable results, predictable outcome with the highest degree of accuracy. Now, with the right mentor, coach, and support system behind you, this is something that you will be able to accomplish. The GIPP initiative is proposing that. All of my team players here are proposing that to you in business. You see, as a rising star in business, you can make a choice. You can continue doing what you're doing and perhaps struggle for many years in business, or you can get the right mentors. You can get the right coach. You can get the right support systems behind you that can really help you to get a different experience. All right, the reason that we are here is because we are seeing what is happening with business leaders, what is happening with rising stars in business. So we have made a commitment to lend our expertise, to lend our experiences to help businesses. Again, you have Shivani, she's a lecturer and she's an expert in project management. You have Frank, he has lectured at some of the top universities, and he is an economist and a leader by profession. I myself, I've lectured for quite some time at the American University of Peace Study. I've lectured specifically in marketing. All right. We have Peter. He has been involved in conducting, so much of seminars. He has been involved in nurturing people to become influencers. So you have a wealth of knowledge of persons here that are committed to the process of helping businesses to get through that growth curve and come very quickly to that point where you're able to cash flow and cash flow fast. And we have developed program, we have tested those programs, and now we want to introduce those platforms to you. So with that being said, I'm going to come to Frank and to ask him to chime in a bit, and then you're going to give us your closing remarks, and then I'm going to come to Peter.
Thank you
But
very
just
much.
yeah, my friend, go ahead.
One of the things that we may have asked a question while listening to all the speakers is, how do I oversee cash flow in management? So now that we've established why cash flow matters so much, you can't put all your time towards it because you have other things to do and stay also right. But you cannot leave it entirely to someone else. That's far too risky. And there are a few recommendations that that I can recommend so you can establish a sensible balance. The first one is set up regular reports. Usually using some kind of accounting software to keep your finances in check. So you have to ensure that you're getting regular reports on your cash flow situation. And if you have someone in charge of finances, they can produce them. Or you can task another employee with learning the ropes. With at a glance confirmation of where you stand, you'll have an easier time determining what, if anything, needs to change. The second point is you need to build a culture of frugality. Wasteful spending is a huge problem for growing businesses, particularly when employees have spending power without knowing the necessary context of your company's broader financial situation. So you need to train your staff to keep business costs down. Find freeware alternatives to expensive software tools. Stop ordering unnecessary office products. Negotiate stronger deals, etc. Use smart scheduling. Every company handles payments slightly differently. So you may need to make a regular payment within 7 days, 14 days, 30 days of the target date. The longer you can push back a payment without incurring a penalty, of course, the easier it will make your life. So make good use of the payment periods provided for you. The fourth is that you need to get strict with your clients. Late payments can be disastrous. So you can't afford to consistently let your clients get away with avoiding their financial obligations. It's all about setting precedent and creating a routine. Make it clear from the beginning that you expect payment by a certain time, and if you don't get it, take action to chase it. Your client should all feel slight pressure to pay on schedule, and invoicing is a big part of this. Find more ways to make money. If you've reduced and rescheduled your outgoings as much as possible, the logical next step is to simply make more money. This might sound obvious, but plenty of money-making opportunities get overlooked for weak reasons. For instance, a company might be reluctant to raise its prices because it's scared of losing clients. But if your prices are too low, that's a risk you have to take. You must understand that money is the blood of your business. Every facet of business can be reduced to money. The bills you pay, the payroll you cover, the price the prices you charge, the value of time you commit to your work, the simple balance of what you pay versus what you make will always determine your fate. So if you follow those tips, you will be able to stay on top of your cash flow and save emergency resources whenever you can, because you can't prepare for every eventuality. Mostly everything else can be directed in its entirety, but not this. Never this. Never let your daily duties drive you to overlook your cash flow, because one mistake can have a domino effect that sends everything tumbling down. Thanks, Larry.
All right, thanks for that share, uh, Paul. I'm calling you Paul, Frank.
You're ballad, that's why.
If I didn't do that, then that wasn't my namesake, right? Yeah. uh, yeah, Frank, you made some good points. I just want to add to it just a little bit before coming across to Peter. I do believe that rising stars in business, you need to know where to optimize spending and where to be frugal. All right. Um, One of the things that I see businesses need to invest in and invest heavily in is in what we call visibility. All right. It's about creating leads. It's about, connecting with the ideal client. It's about, you need to have a budget that is helping you with researching the ideal client, a budget that is helping you to build advertising content based on data. You need to have budgetary allocation that is going to be helping you to identify the appropriate medium to place your advertising to optimize the level of results that you're going to get in. So when I say advertising is a broad ecosystem that needs to be considered, and perhaps as time progresses, we will do a specialized program just looking at what the advertising budget represents, because it's not just frugal spending, it's about strategic spending in this regard. But great points. Love the point that you would have made. Peter, your closing thoughts?
Yeah, Gary. We spoke a little about in getting starting out for that person who wants to cash flow, and we mentioned them discovering their value proposition, what they're bringing to the market. Then they've got to develop that, and in then they're going to distribute it. All right, and they're going to do that three level. That three level is in private, really. That is a part of them gathering the information to make sure that what they're presenting to the marketplace is actually what the market actually need. But at the distribution case, at the distribution stage, eventually it will become they're going to now go into the production case, the production stage, and the packaging and the promote. So now they're at production, packaging, and promote. All right, so their production, the production stage, they are now in the at the place where they are totally um, clear, and they know that what they are distributing, what they're bringing to the marketplace is what the market needs. They have no question about that. They have done all the research, and they are positive. They are sure that they have gotten all the feedback that this is what they now know the amount of clients in the marketplace that make their business viable. So they're now going to go into full production. And in that, you have to be able to package, whether it is a product or a service. There's a certain amount of presentation about what they're bringing to the marketplace. It has to be packaged similar to what you are doing here, Gary. You are interfacing with your community, and you are ensuring that your packaging in your production of your value, it looks good. It is something that has the pull factor to it just by looking at the labeling of what it is. It's good to have a great content, but if the content and the production of the content and the packaging of the content is not presented properly, then you are still going to have a problem because persons will not readily trust what it is that you are presenting to the marketplace. So you have done you are at the production and you have packaged what you have in a beautiful way by which it is inviting, and your ideal clients are looking at it and they says yes, they want it, but then now it has to be promoted. And this is where now we encourage, there's so many ways by which individuals can actually promote their good products and services in the marketplace. One thing we recommend, if you're in a situation whereby you do not have the revenue to really do the kind of social media, because to go on social media, while anyone can go on social media, but if you just go there and you do not understand how Instagram works, if you do not understand how YouTube work and these social media platform works, what you will have is 25 views, 10 views, 5 views, and then that is not enough to really take your good product that you have into the marketplace. So one thing that we encourage individuals to do is to use relationship marketing. Use your friends and your network, family, people who love you. Find a few people who love you. And as Shivani was mentioning earlier, about benefits. What are the benefits that you can give to your friends and your family to say, if you tell your friends and your family about this product, I've done the testing. You are these are the same people, your friends and your family. They are the same persons who helped you in the distribution, where you are doing the testing and you are distributing to these same individuals about what your product and your service is that you were when you were in the discover period. Now you can now employ these individuals to now market and promote for you, so they know other individuals. So you're going now into the direct marketing project program, where you can now have a series of individuals building and amplifying your own network of distributors. The network marketing industry has been one of the places that has gotten a lot of bad reviews because a lot of persons has gotten hurt in believing in products and services, great big promises, and they did not receive a lot of the returns that was promised by big corporations who came in, the Amways and all of these. And these are great companies, however, but it's just that there are individuals who did not receive the kind of benefit that was promised by their upline. But network marketing, relationship marketing, direct marketing is one of the best ways, the cheapest ways actually, to get your product and your services, because now you are capitalizing on the know, like, and trust factor of those within your network. So once you can build out a benefit package, once you can show somebody that this what you will get, and you have all the necessary elements in place to back up the promise that you are making, then you'll be able to cash flow. There's much training that has to go into this. So all I come back again to say, your master planning, the master planning. This is why your master planning and your master design is always important, because you'll always be have to be developing new processes. Make sure that all the elements are working effectively. But as you do that in your master design and your planning, and you're connecting with people who love you, and empowering those persons who love the persons who love you, then most certainly you will begin to generate some cash flow, and you can begin now have the kind of investment that you need to employ that team, to employ that consultant, to employ that influencer that is now on YouTube or wherever else, to assist you to begin to accelerate your processes even faster and much deeper than where you want to go.
All right. Just before coming to uh, Shivani, I want to just take your Peter on one of the points that you would have made, and that's how to navigate social media. Yes, I do believe that social media gives you access to over 5 billion persons, but there's a right and a wrong way to use those social media platforms. You could be on the platform, but if you don't know how to use the platform, there lies a challenge. So, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to spend some time to add some value to what Peter would have said, and by looking, giving you some ideas as to how to make it and perhaps make it big on YouTube. To make it on YouTube, there's a seven steps I'm going to quickly give to you. You need to understand what is title search and SEO optimization. Second, you need to understand what is description and SEO optimization. Third, you need to understand what is keywords and SEO optimization. Fourth, you need to understand SEO ranking. Five, you need to understand SEO performance. Six, you need to understand SEO optimization and how the algorithm works. And seven, you need to understand thumbnails and psychographics. I'm not going to do a deep dive into that, but I'm going to say to you that it's quite possible to make it on those social media platforms when you know what you are about. I will introduce to you later on a dynamic team, and in the event you need to know more about this, again, reach out to us because the GIPP initiative, as it talks to you about becoming a global influencer, it's going to talk to you how to make it big on social media. And this is not a gaffe. This is some serious issues that we're talking about. We have been here, we have tested the platform. We see over in a short couple of weeks, we have been able to attract over 25,000 new subscribers to our platform. We're going to take that to 100,000 and then we're going to go to 1 million. So it's quite possible. And think about this, that you have 100,000 persons that are your cheerleaders. You have 1 million persons who are your cheerleaders. Do your business has any struggle in terms of cash flowing? Because at this stage, we would have already set you up to attract multiple streams of income. You're not dependent on a single source of income. And that's what the GIP initiative can do for you via social media and other platform. Shivani, thanks for your patience, my lady, and your thoughts and your closing remarks on today's program.
I wonder if I've ever heard that, Gary. That's my virtue, patience. I don't know, but thanks for making me.
You like that position?
You're
You
being
like that position?
recognized.
Yes, so thanks a lot for that. I don't know.
You're being recognized. Okay.
So, in terms of my closing remarks, and project management really can assist us the cash flow. Yes, there are so many different principles from project management that we must take. Otherwise, this is not going to work. Part of the ecosystem in how to build your business, you have to understand how project management will fit in. So you can't do things in silo. You can't just say, okay, I'm gonna get the money, or okay, I'm gonna get a good product or a service, and that's it. Yeah, so many different things that must go together. And when you analyze and you step back and you look at whatever business you have, and you look at things may not have gone right, it's because you didn't understand the entire ecosystem, or you were not practicing it, right? And understanding and practicing very important, right? Because you could understand and you're not practicing.
Yes.
So part of project management can help us to do these things. And key takeaways for this conversation that I hope everybody's getting and really want to understand a lot more and grow. That's the whole point of doing these shows, right? That people want to learn. Um, to cash flow, we mentioned the first point is really trust, and you need to trust. You need to develop a trusted brand, as we said. You also have to practice change management. You have to understand change management because there are different ways now to capitalize on money. Cash flow. when I hear people say, things are not going so good, I'm not cash flowing my business properly, I say, we need to understand this thing more, right? There are many, many ways, and we're just not doing it, or you're doing it wrong. You're not understanding the entire ecosystem. And the other point that I made was benefits realization. This is a big topic. It's one of my pet peeves, how to do it properly, benefits realization. The
Mhm.
last point for me to close off really is one of the key principles that I have seen very, very important in this conversation, which is enable change to achieve the envisioned future state. What is the future state that you want? You have to know what is the future state and enable the change that it will happen. That is one of the principles of project management, and it can really, really assist us here as well. So thanks for that, Gary.
All right. Great share, Shabani. Understanding and practice, and you know that you have been making some powerful statements throughout this program. As you make that statement, I'm thinking about you know practice at a whole nother level. All right, and I just want to say this: there's a certain type of learning that we all get that can only come from practicing. You may understand the theory of doing things, it's not enough. You need to understand the practice of doing things. Is
Yes.
understanding that is where you literally is taking the practical steps to become the subject matter expert. The theory does not necessarily make you the subject matter expert. The practice does, because that is experiential, and you are literally going through a motion of what works, what doesn't works, and it helps you to become the authority figure. So those are some great points, Shivani. Well, we have the cryptocurrency. All to you, my friend. Your closing thoughts on today's program.
Yes. Thank you so much for the
You're
space.
welcome. Welcome,
Um,
my friend.
and I definitely have to say that in order for us to really come into the understanding as to what is considered the perfect money, we have to understand the history, right? And this idea that we know today of Bitcoin, it's an idea that's been in development since 50s. The technology was not ready when the first I remember it was in the late 80s where the first cryptocurrency was put out, and I have all of that information as to who put it together. I can't just out of my mind put all that because it's too much, but there's been about four tries to come up with separating money from the state, and so until the technology was not ready, which is when Bitcoin came out, that's when it actually was able to be implemented and to be able to start to catch on. Now, I have to say this because I did think it's something that everyone should read the Bitcoin white paper. There is a website, I believe it's called bitcoin.org, where you can find the Bitcoin white paper on your own language. So it's only 9 pages, so it's not very big, but you would come to a full understanding as to the reason why Bitcoin is perfect money once you really do understand that the fiduciary systems are flawed and they've always been flawed. And so this is something also that I think people need to understand was the creation of Bitcoin was not for individuals that have access to the banking system. Bitcoin was created for the other half of the world that does not have access to the banking system. So these individuals right now, before Bitcoin, were complete obsolete and they have no access to no sort of economic tool to be able to transact and to be able to bring their ideas into fruition. So understanding the aspect and now seeing, like as I'm standing right here in front of this cell phone, I can see one of my notifications saying that BlackRock ETF, which has been open for less than 60 days, has acquired over 100,000 Bitcoin in this short period amount of time. Now, I'm not saying that we should, fall into what's in the crypto space known as FOMO, which is fear of missing out. But definitely, if we are seeing now, after 15 years of this space only being, consumed by, individuals like ourselves in this call, now having this big fish come on and really start to dry up the market, because since January up to now, and I remember meeting you guys then into now, we have a 12 time exponential demand on supply versus the demand that is able to be created on a daily basis. Now, to put this into a perspective, there's only 900 Bitcoin that get created daily. The demand is 12 times that. And just to put this into perspective, I've looked at several resources, and the number is that around 420 million people are part of not just Bitcoin, but the cryptocurrency space. And when I looked at those numbers versus the amount of people we have in the world, that only amounts for 6% of the world's individuals being in the space of cryptocurrency. Now, I'm not trying to put in, like I said, any FOMO, but definitely I want to bring this to you because I feel that now that we have the big institutions coming in and completely drying up the market, bringing the demand 12 times over, I can just imagine when the other 94% of the world are going to want to have a piece of Bitcoin, because of right now we only have 6% as we speak. It's only 420 million against 7 billion. Space is concrete now. The space is being pretty much run dry. And like I said, I don't want people to go into FOMO, but definitely read the Bitcoin white paper, get into a consultant with me so that way I can go ahead and provide you with very deep information that I can help you, guide through you through the process and the understanding of it, and, being financial sovereign. Thank you.
All right, thanks for your share, Elmore. Um, two things I want to say in relation to what Elmore would have said. Now, there are a lot of development that is taking place in the financial world, especially in the cryptocurrency space. And in recent times, we would have had the cryptocurrency ETFs. And what I want to say about the ETF, if anyone understands investment portfolios and the ETF, what the ETF means is the exchange trade funds. It is not a single portfolio. You have multiple portfolios that are placed in the ETF. And the multiple portfolios are there for a particular reason. It has a safety mechanism. So if you put $1 into that ETF, that dollar is going to be broken down into its smallest unit and be spread among all of the portfolios. So if even one portfolio goes down, you have 99% of that dollar that still is perhaps in a safe investment portfolio. So those are some of the safety mechanisms that are in place. And I want to believe that that is happening because of some of the great minds that we have seen in recent times who are actually involved in the cryptocurrency investment space. Now, having said that, just to add some credence to what Elmore is saying, um, when it comes to investment, you can either be using what we call front end analytics, and the front end analytics relates to what Elmore was just talking about. You just see something that looks nice and you make a decision to go after it. And there's what we call the back end analytics. What we do is the back end analytics. What you should do also is back end analytics. And what back end analytics says is that you understand not just the portfolios, but you understand the players behind the portfolios, and you're looking at historical data that is helping you to make informed and educated decision when it comes to investment. In starting, scaling, growing a business, and creating an investment portfolio, these are things that you need to be serious about because it is your life investment that you, for some people, that you may be talking about. With all of that being said, I want to thank the so many viewers from across the world who have been here today and to be part of the business boot camp. I want to thank you for being here. I want to encourage you to like, subscribe to this channel, and share. So you will be the first to know when we are on air. We are on air daily, 7 a.m. EST. I also want to say this: today's program, we talk about the fastest way to cash flow. And I did give you a number of steps that you can begin to use to start a cash flow. So I really trust that you had a lot of information here today. Now, in this program, because of time, we do high level overviews. In the event that you want more time to learn these programs, I do encourage you to register for the GIPP initiative. All right, the GIPP initiative stands for Global Influencers Partners Program. And there's so much for you to take away from these platforms. And just let me share with you some of the things that you can take away from the GIPP initiative. One, you will learn about the fastest way to cash flow your business. All right. Now, we have so many hacks that we will share with you here. Along with this, we talk to you about mastering the real cost of doing business. Why this is important. We see many rising stars you get into business and you underestimate or you disregard the cost of doing business. And when you do this, you set yourself up for failure. We will also talk to you about mastering your MVO and business analytics. Now, you want to know your MVO, which is your value offer, minimum, most, or maximum viable offer, but you also want to do that business analytics. You want to understand the business ecosystem in which you're operating in. The GAP initiative will really help you to understand this. Then we will talk to you about building and mastering your personal brand. If you are a business leader and you're not putting much emphasis into personality branding, you're not putting much emphasis into building what we call the influencer marketing, you're not leveraging this, the possibility exists that you're undermining significantly your business potential to cash flow. This program, the GIP Initiative, will also talk to you about how to build and master your corporate brands. It will talk to you about mastering 8 steps to become a global influencer. We are no longer telling you to become just a local influencer. It's how you build your brand and how you go global. And we have tested and tried and tested programs to get you there and to get you there fast. We will also talk to you about mastering your TOPAC. Now, what TOPACs mean? TOPACs means targeted performance outcome and your business cash flow game plan. So whatever those targeted performance are, you need to understand it. And if you have heard me talk before about this, I always talk about 4 points of impact. If you're building a business, that business must have 4 points of impact. I'm not going to get into that. Get my books, and my books will help you to understand that. Last but not least, what this program will help you to understand is how to master project management and your WBS. Here is where we do a clinical selection of the body of knowledge in project management. And we really want you to understand the WBS. What WBS means, it means work breakdown structure. What the work breakdown structure does, it gives you an in-depth overview of the step-by-step approaches that must be taken to successfully execute on a project. All right. So that's what the GIP initiative will do for you. Now, having said that, I want to just represent my partner. He's not here today. We also have the BFC, which is the Business Finance Consultant. We are training over 100 persons across the United States of America to become BFCs. Here is where you will be trained to understand money. Here is where you will be trained to allocate capital to businesses. And think about this. In the US alone, we have over 15 million businesses that is registered with the SBA. And we have multiple more millions of those businesses. And these businesses, they need access to capital. So whether you're talking about business funding or you're talking about real estate funding or you're talking about factoring, we can get you the capital that you need to move your business and your vision forward. And think about you being trained to provide capital to these high net worth individuals, business leaders. Our trainer will prepare you for that. And guess what? You can make a whole lot of money in this process. All right. Your ability to cash flow will depend on your ability to lead and inspire people. And we have Frank here that's going to really help you to understand how to lead and how to inspire, how to motivate, and how to achieve your sales objective. So, with that being said, I want to thank my team again for being here today. I have Shivani, project management specialist. She's also a lecturer at one of the top universities in the Caribbean. We have Peter. Peter is the brain behind the Legacy Chronicle Human Development Initiative. He focuses a lot on human resource development. We have Elmore, and Elmore is a specialist in the cryptocurrency space, and he is also an author. His book is going to be out very soon. And we also have Frank. Frank is an economist by profession. He's also a certified leader. And Frank, too, is an author, and his books I know is going to be out very soon. So I can't wait to have two of these parties' books, Elmore books and Frank books. And I know it's good, but these books are going to be doing well in on your your bookshelves and your desk. So we just can't wait. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for being here today, and look forward to doing this again tomorrow.
An influencer, it gives you the edge that separates you from the competition. The GIPP initiative, the Global Influencers Partners Program, is designed to expose you to over 5 billion potential consumers across the world. When you are a rising star in business and you need visibility, reach, impact, client conversion, and cash flow optimization, positioning yourself to become a global influencer may be the ideal tool that you need in your arsenal to win in business. I encourage you to join the GIPP initiative and position your business to build confidence, trust, and credibility and cash flow optimize the fastest.